witnessing in Burkina Faso isn't just a protest. It's a declaration, a message that echoes through time and across borders. Africa will determine her own future. On the streets of Ouagadougou, thousands of men and women, young and old, stood shoulder to shoulder, not in fear, but in unity. Their chants carried the weight of centuries of struggle and the hope of generations to come. This episode isn't just about one protest. It's about a movement, a spiritual and political awakening taking place across Africa, from Ghana to Mali, Ethiopia to South Africa, as citizens push back against neo-colonial pressures and external dominance. The global spotlight is turning toward Africa, and for once, not because of crisis, but because of courage. In this episode of Voices of the Motherland, we ask, why now? What does this moment in Burkina Faso represent? And how does it connect to a broader movement of Pan-African unity and empowerment sweeping the continent? Let's begin by understanding the roots of this defiance. The recent protests were triggered by escalating tensions between the Burkinabè government and the United States. Accusations of interference, perceived threats to national leadership, and long-standing frustrations with Western foreign policy reached a boiling point. But this isn't just about one policy or one nation. It's about centuries of dominance and the reclaiming of agency. For many Burkinabè citizens, this protest was deeply personal. The country has a long history of revolutionary spirit, rooted in the legacy of Thomas Sankara, a visionary leader who prioritized African self-reliance and anti-imperialism. That spirit has never died. It has only been waiting for the right moment to rise again. Social media played a crucial role in organizing and amplifying the voices of protesters. In a matter of hours, the movement spread across digital platforms, drawing support from Pan-Africanist communities across the world. The solidarity was overwhelming and deeply symbolic. This wasn't just a protest. It was a mirror, reflecting the frustrations of many African nations still battling external control decades after independence. No conversation about Burkina Faso's resistance can ignore the towering legacy of Thomas Sankara. Often called Africa's Che Guevara, Sankara was a revolutionary leader who preached African dignity, environmental sustainability, and complete independence from Western powers. He renamed the country from Upper Volta to Burkina Faso, meaning land of upright people. Sankara's assassination in 1987 was a devastating loss, but his ideas never truly died. Today's youth, many born long after his death, quote him with reverence. His speeches circulate on TikTok. His image is painted on murals, and his words inspire the very protesters who filled the streets this week. What we're witnessing is a Sankarist revival, not just in Burkina Faso, but across Africa. Leaders and citizens alike are echoing his call for sovereignty, unity, and economic freedom. And in doing so, they're proving that ideas are more powerful than armies. This revival is not nostalgic. It is strategic. The youth of Africa are not just looking back. They're building forward, fueled by the fire of those who came before. While the age of direct colonization may be over, neo-colonialism remains a very real force. Through economic dependency, military alliances, debt traps, and cultural dominance, many African nations remain under subtle forms of control. And this is precisely what Burkina Faso's protests are confronting. The protesters weren't only rejecting a specific political pressure, they were rejecting an entire system. A system that dictates policy from Washington or Paris. A system that extracts resources, imposes debt, and labels African self-defense as instability. These realities are not lost on the people. They understand that true independence is not just about flying your own flag. It's about owning your land, your media, your schools, and your narratives. This is why the Burkina Faso movement is so inspirational. It forces us to ask uncomfortable questions. Who really controls Africa's destiny? And are we ready to take it back? Across Africa, we're witnessing the rise of a new Pan-African generation. From artists to activists, tech entrepreneurs to political thinkers, Africans are collaborating across borders like never before. The message is clear: divided, we fall; united, we rise. Protests like the one in Burkina Faso don't happen in isolation. They are part of a wave of actions in countries like Mali, Niger, Senegal, and even in the diaspora. Shared hashtags, shared pain, shared goals. This is Pan-Africanism in real time, not just a theory, but a living, breathing movement. Youth-led organizations are forming coalitions across regions. Diaspora influencers are raising awareness. Grassroots leaders are pushing for policy change. The drumbeat of unity is getting louder, and it can no longer be ignored. This isn't just about resistance, it's about building a continent that believes in itself and speaks with one voice. The African diaspora plays a critical role in this rising movement. From Harlem to London, from Kingston to Paris, Africans in the diaspora are reconnecting with the continent, not just emotionally, but strategically. They're investing in businesses, amplifying movements, and challenging stereotypes. In moments like this, where a nation stands up for itself, the diaspora rallies. They write, share, speak, and mobilize. They are part of the larger African body, and their solidarity strengthens the movement. Diaspora creatives are changing the narrative in film, music, and fashion. African American scholars are bridging gaps in knowledge and history. Caribbean activists are collaborating with continental movements to push for reparations and global justice. The message is clear. We are one people, with one struggle, and one future. This protest is more than a news headline. It's a symbol, a signal to the world that Africa is no longer content with being passive in global politics. The continent is waking up, politically, economically, culturally, and with that awakening comes power. If Burkina Faso can inspire millions, what can a united Africa achieve? The possibilities are endless. Trade alliances, cultural exchanges, joint defense strategies, tech revolutions. But it all starts with belief. Belief in the idea that Africans, wherever they are in the world, can build a future based on dignity and self-reliance. The road ahead is not easy. There will be setbacks, resistance, and sacrifice. But moments like this prove that the spirit of Africa is alive, fierce, proud, and ready to rise. To the people of Burkina Faso, you've lit a fire that many thought had gone out. And to all Africans across the globe, this is your call to action. Now is the time to raise your voice, stand for your people, and reclaim your power. At Voices of the Motherland, we will continue to share these stories, the ones the world tries to ignore. Because these are the stories that shape nations and ignite futures. Africa is rising, and her voice will be heard.